All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Touchdown Talk with Chris and Pablo right here on Radio Garden State, as well as YouTube and Facebook. So, good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody who's watching us. Good morning, my friend. How are you, Pablo?
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to week 10 of some NFL fantasy football talk.
Wow. Yeah, week 10. Holy smokes. We are just barreling towards the end of the season already. So much has happened. So much drama has happened. We had an incredible Thursday night game in the NFL, which probably the best game of the season, as everybody's been calling it so far. I mean, I was just telling you off the air that man, I always have a hard time staying up on the primetime games, and I was so tired on Thursday, and I tried, and then I fell asleep, and I woke back up. So ultimately, I didn't really get to watch the game fully, but it was, while I was still awake, it was very exciting. And then, of course, I watched all the highlights the next morning. But man, what a game!
Yeah, well, it was fantastic. Yeah, my favorite game for sure of the year so far. It definitely delivered up to expectations. Two great teams, two
Yeah.
great offenses, and multiple fantasy monster productions.
Oh my
For
gosh.
those of us who were unfortunate enough to go against Jamar Chase, I'm one of them, and I'm here with all of you in stating that that's a difficult one to get over, but we can do this. We can still keep up a fight. So let's go.
Yes. I
Also,
am
great games from
smiling.
Lamar and
I,
Burrow. Yeah.
I'm smiling because I'm a Jamar Chase owner in both of the leagues. So yes, I woke up to a very nice surprise.
Yeah, that was a fantastic first round pick you made during the draft, my friend. Jamar
Yeah.
Chase, definitely well worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Lamar Jackson owners, Joe Burrow owners, all had a great night. And Burrow even playing through injury and stuff. I mean, his shoulder was really looked like it was really bothering him. But the guy just, what a trooper, man! Just getting out there and slinging that ball around, unbelievable.
Yeah, very entertaining game. Lots of fantasy impacts, and we'll get into it as we go through each of our matchups. But yeah, fantastic Thursday for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, hey, just for everybody tuning in right now, if this is your first time checking out the touchdown talk, what Pablo and I do every Saturday. We used to be on Sundays. We are now on Saturdays here at 10 a.m. What we do is we go through our two respective fantasy football leagues. We have one league that we're both in called the League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People, the LOEMP League, and then the Dirt Invitational. Both are on Yahoo Fantasy. So if you want to follow our leagues as we talk about things, just to stay in the know as we talk about the teams and all that, you can. They're both set to public, so you can follow along with these. But as we go, we'll be talking about our players on each team. We're going to be making our picks as to who we think is going to win each matchup in our respective leagues. So feel free to drop your questions. If anybody from our league is listening, obviously, have fun as we always do. Smack talk, ask questions, offer advice, whatever it is. For anybody else, if you want any kind of fantasy advice, as maybe you're trying to figure out who you want to sit this week, who you should pick up, if you got any trades you're thinking about eyeing up, let us know. Drop us a comment in the chat, which you can do if you're over on Facebook or YouTube watching, or if you're listening and you want to call in, you can call 862-243-2064. That number, once again, is 862-243-2064, and we will get you on the air with your question. And already, Tina Johnson jumping in with good morning, fellas. Good morning, sweet, sweet Tina. We love you. Thank you for
Good
checking in.
morning,
Thanks for
Tina.
watching this morning. Appreciate you. So, all right, Pablo, before we jump in, where do we stand on our picks so far? Did you tabulate you and I are right now on our picks on these are all time, right? These are all time numbers?
Yeah, I have both last week's tally as well as the grand total for the season. So last week, you and I both had a very good week.
Mm-hmm.
I hit 9 picks out of 12. You hit 8 out of 12. So I
Okay.
was able to get one score ahead of you. Our grand total for the season is 60 to
All right.
59. We were tied last week. So now we're
Nice.
just off by one pick.
Oh man, I love it. Okay, so yeah, look at that. We're doing pretty good. Doing all
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah,
I
not too
like it.
bad.
I like it. All right, so let's dive in. So we're gonna start with our Dirt Invitational League today, right? That's the plan. We're going to start there.
Do that. Let's go with our dirt league.
All right, and Pablo, just so everybody knows, if we have anybody tuning in for this first time, what is the Dirt League? What is our setup here?
So our setup with our Dirt Invitational League, it's a 12-team half PPR Superflex league, and currently we have quite a spread here on different teams and who's in first place, who's in second, how many wins each team has. As we approach these last 5 weeks of the regular season, we're now starting to see teams that are almost locked in for the playoffs, or practically guaranteed, like our undefeated team.
Yep.
Even though mathematically could still be knocked out, it's practically impossible for Bodie to
I'd say
miss
at this
these
point,
playoffs, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the current format of this league: 12-team half PPR Superflex. So Bodie McBoatface currently undefeated, 9 wins.
Yeah.
And also off to a great start because she is the Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews manager. So off to a great start on Thursday.
Yeah, off to a great start. And by the way, just do want to call out, because we always like to say who is our biggest blowout of the week. It was Bodie McBoatface versus a Swift Kick of Love, 134.50 to 104. So 30 and a half point difference there. That was a beatdown.
Yeah, that was last week, week 9. Yeah, Bodie got it done.
Yep, she definitely got it done. Yeah, so currently how our top 5 looks right now in our league, or I'll say our top 6, because the top 6 are the ones that make it into the playoffs here. Bodie McBoatface, 9-0, undefeated still. Undefeated. Moose Knuckles in number 2 spot with 7-2. Uruguay, your team, my friend. Congratulations in the top 3 spot. Number 3 at 6-3. I'm nipping at your heels, bud, at 6-4 at my team, the Killer Beers. Number 5, we got Sharkbait sitting in at 5-4, and Swift Kick of Love also sitting at 5-4. If playoffs were tomorrow, we would all be in. Sitting right at the edge of the bubble there is the Sicilians, Tina's team, at 4-5. Manja, 4-5 as well. So both those teams are sort of still in the hunt, I would say, especially if they can put together a bunch of strings of wins there. BMF at 3-6. Show Me Your TDs at 2-7. Primo Dolas Matador at 2-7. And Ginger Ninja at 1-8. And we want to give a quick shout out to Heather, because that's right, we picked it. Heather got her first win. So no longer sitting at goose eggs, and we mean that, Heather. We're happy to see you get that win. So congratulations. And I think, Pablo and I have been pretty much picking you almost every week to get that win. So finally, the good juju finally paid off.
It was bound to happen. Yeah, good job there, Ginger Ninja. And I'm sure many more wins to come. Still an outside chance to get into those playoffs, but if not, at least you can prepare yourself well to avoid that dreaded poop trophy that we have for our consolation bracket.
Yep, the poop trophy. And here is a picture of the poop trophy, who the current holder displayed in her house right now.
That would be Show Me Your Touchdowns, displaying that current poop trophy. This is for all you listeners that are new to the show. This is the award that goes to the team who loses every game in the consolation bracket. So last place trophy is a hand-carved poop trophy.
That's right. And you have to proudly display it for everyone to see who enters your home for the entire year until you lose it again.
It's fantastic.
It is absolutely fantastic. So all right, so let's dive in. Every week here on our show, we is in the tradition of the Dirt League. The former champ, Manja, was the former champ, and usually the default is that the champ picks the game of the week. And if the champ doesn't have a game of the week, then the Touchdown Talk picks a game of the week. So Pablo, has the champ picked the game of the week?
No, the champ has been slacking in that regards. We do not have a game of the week selected by the champ. So this will be up to the Touchdown Talk once again.
All right.
To see which of these games we like the most to choose as our game of the week.
Well, I mean, of course, there's our head-to-head matchup. Which, both sitting at 6-3. I'm at 4, and you're number 3. I mean, I feel like that stands out. I mean, I also, another matchup here that I kind of like is Sicilians and Swift Kick of Love is a good matchup as well. I think that's an interesting matchup. But Pablo, what do you think?
Well, I'm tempted to pick our game just because you and I are both here and we can discuss it, but we're
Right.
going to do that regardless of whether we pick it first or not.
Sure.
So let's go with our matchup between A Swift Kick of Love and the Sicilians, one of the teams that is in 6th place, the other's in 7th. So right at the edge there of making it into the playoffs. This is a very important game for the future outcome of both of these teams. So let's dive into that one first.
All right, so let's do it. We are looking right now at the Sicilians, who are sitting at 4-5, owned by Tina, who's watching right now. Hey, Tina. And Swift Kick of Love, owned by my brother Kev, at 5-4, and he is sitting in the 6th spot. And right off the bat, Tina got 1 point already from Thursday night. Justice Hill not having a great night at all. He was projected at 4.15 points, only getting 1 point on a night. Basically 2 receptions, and that is it. So not much going on there. But let's look at, other than that, Sicilians are projected at a 123.38, while Swift Kick of Love's projections are 133.07. Both starting quarterbacks on Tina's side, the Sicilians, has Jalen Daniels, who's going to be going into Pittsburgh this weekend, versus Colin Murray on the other side, who is playing the Jets on Sunday as well. What do you think of this starting lineup right now, these head-to-head quarterback matchups, Pablo?
So those quarterbacks look interesting. It's definitely a game to watch there in Washington when Jaden Daniels has to take on Pittsburgh. They're coming off of a bye. They're probably very motivated to keep their momentum going.
Right.
And Kyler Murray looking at playing at home against the Jets defense, who is also not the simplest defense to play against.
No.
Going down the lineup a little further, I see our dear friend Kevin, your brother, Swift Kick of Love manager, has Michael Pittman already declared out for the week and still in the starting lineup. So that's a change that I'm sure we'll see eventually him be able to update.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make that update. He's pretty on top of it.
Absolutely. He picked up Mike Williams, that was recently traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Which I think was a really good pickup, by the way. I agree with that pickup. I thought that was smart, and I mean, he should see some good action there.
I think so too, yeah, especially with Devontae Adams arriving at the New York Jets team. Mike Williams probably didn't have a lot of room to be able to get any targets. So yeah, it's definitely a good trade for both teams. So yeah, looking at the rest of these lineups that we have here with this matchup, it looks very interesting. We have Breece Hall versus Chuba Hubbard there in the running back spot. Chuba Hubbard just got paid. Looks to be the starter for the rest of the season.
Yep.
The Carolina Panthers activated the rookie Jonathan Brooks that they drafted earlier this year, but that had an injury, a pretty big injury that held him out the first few months of the season. But he's probably going to be eased in. I don't think that player will be a threat to Chuba Hubbard's workhorse load. So that's definitely a great start for Tina's team.
Now, real quick, let's just look at this. I mean, Giants are playing Carolina tomorrow morning. There's a German game, so remind everybody, make sure your lineups are set. 9:30 a.m. start tomorrow morning, playing in Germany. So I honestly feel like, let's just, as a Giants fan, of course, I want the Giants to win, but I actually kind of want the Giants to tank this season now because we might as well at this point. But I actually feel like, based on watching the Giants recently, I feel like Chuba Hubbard could actually put up some decent points against the Giants defense, who's not been very good on the run at all.
I think so too. Yeah, I think the Giants this season aren't doing great things on defense. Their offense is showing some sparks here and there, but very intermittent and not anything that as a fan I would be too excited about. But for the sake of this game in Germany that you well reminded all of us, tomorrow morning, 9:30 East Coast, we need to make sure our lineups are set. I think Chuba Hubbard is going to have a decent game, and even though there's some travel there all the way out to Europe, he's probably going to be fine, and a great start for the Sicilians lineup this week.
Yeah, and with Breece Hall too, I mean, talk about a player that I think a lot of people in their draft either took in their first round or second round. I mean, he was very highly drafted, and as far as a fantasy production goes, hasn't been great. I mean, his last 2 games, really not awesome as far as yards go. I mean, he had 80 yards week 8, week 9, 74 yards. Really not put up the big points that he's being projected every week. I mean, his best week so far was week 7, as far as a fantasy production standpoint, because he had the touchdown. But he's really, as of this year, he's only had 3 touchdowns the entire season.
Yeah, his start to the season hasn't been as outstanding as we all thought somebody like Breece Hall would be able to put up.
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, the rest of his season is a favorable. He has a lot of favorable matchups.
Yeah,
So,
here's Arizona, Indiana, then Jets are on a bye, and then we got Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville, the Rams, Buffalo. The last game of the season for the Jets will probably be, as far as looking at the rest, is definitely going to be probably the hardest.
yeah, I still think he might be a really great second half of the season type player, even though we haven't seen exactly what we thought we would out of him so far. He certainly has everything laid out in front of him to really explode and carry a Swift kick of love deep into the playoffs, making a run for that championship title this year.
Right. All right. Well, listen, man, I like it, and I like a lot of the picks on both sides here, and I yeah. Whoops. I'm hearing double audio coming in on my headphones. I don't know if everybody else heard that. I just had to shut that down. I'm like, wait a second, where's that coming from? So all right. So listen, I feel like with what I'm seeing on both sides here, as far as our pick goes for our game of the week, and then you'll just look down. I just want to really call out real quick, and then the super flex. We got Tua versus Daniel Jones, and listen, Daniel Jones has been better, but can he be trusted? The Carolina is a terrible team. I mean, they may be worse than the Giants. I think they might be worse than the Giants. But that being said, we just never know what we're getting, what's showing up. I mean, technically the Giants are the road team, and Giants have done better on the road, kind of statistically. But I think Tua's Monday night against the Rams. I don't know. I mean, the Rams have been coming on lately, so I don't know what the big point potential is there. But I mean, it's always good when you got Tua slinging to Tyreek Hill. So this one I feel like is gonna be kind of a even matchup. I feel like I feel like these projections are gonna be a lot closer. I think based on what I'm seeing, I almost feel like the thing that I like the most on Tina's side is I do like Jalen Daniels, of course. I think the Pittsburgh game is going to be a really fun game to just watch. I think it's going to be a pretty decent game, actually. But, Justin Jefferson, I think, you got Leggett going into New York. Giants secondary is terrible. It's not that the Carolina quarterback, the kid, he's shown some life over the last couple weeks. But I like Chuba Hubbard. I don't know. I am feeling like I'm going to be picking the Sicilians this week on over Swift Kick of Love.
Look at you going with the underdog.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm feeling good. I mean, I know Drake London on the other side. Dave Montgomery. I mean, there's lots to like on both sides, but I think I'm feeling a little more Sicilians on this one.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you this. I do think Kevin has a great team, and is going to have a really, really decent week, especially after updating that wide receiver spot. But I'm going to go with the Sicilians as well, and I'll tell you why.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. I think Justin Jefferson is set up to have the type of weekend that Jamar Chase just had. Mm-hmm. He's playing against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He can do anything he wants. All they need to do is throw him the ball.
Basically,
he will score a ton of fantasy points. So I'm going to go with the Sicilians as well here.
All right, look at that. Right off the bat, you and I in agreement today. I like it. All right, so let's keep it moving then. Let's move on to our next pick. And by the way, Tina jumping in with I'm going to lose. I'm praying for a concussed QB miracle. And then saying underdog love back at you, Sicilian vibe. So there you go, Tina. And it's not just because you're watching. It's just how we feel. All right, so let's start then. You know what? We'll go to the next matchup in this, how we're looking at this, and then we'll work from the top down. How's that sound?
Sure thing.
All right, so let's go over to Sharkbait versus Bodie McBoatface, our number 5 team versus our number 1 undefeated team. Right now, Sharkbait sitting in 5th, Bodie, of course, sitting in 1st place. And as we said at the top, Bodie being a Lamar Jackson owner. So being on the benefit side of getting 40 points on the board,
Yeah, it's
4
crazy.
touchdown passes, 290 yards, and then 33 rushing yards. He did. He had that big run. Look at that, 40 points, a 40 burger on a Thursday night already. Definitely already having Sharkbait play from behind against the champ, who currently, before that game, Sharkbait was actually the projected winner, original projections. But
Yeah.
this is going to be a tough hill to climb. But not that Sharkbait doesn't have good players on his side of the fence.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, he's got really good quarterbacks that can put up a lot of fantasy points. I wouldn't be surprised to see a big outing out of Cousins or Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
So it could certainly, he can certainly get his own 40-point quarterback on the board this weekend as well. But Bodie already did. And
yeah,
that's why she's at such a great advantage right here, right
right.
now. A fantastic Thursday night to start with 61.5 points going into the weekend. Really great lineups on both sides. Is there anyone that you see on either lineup that strikes you as the most risky player, or the player that you might have more hesitation?
Yeah,
Would he be on your team?
no, great question. I mean, also too, I do want to point out that Bodie, Pam's team, had Mark Andrews, so that's also big, 15 points there. Had a nice night, one touchdown, 68 yards. That's not bad at all. I mean, the one matchup here, I actually feel like it's going to be interesting to see, because we saw Matt Stafford, go off not too recently, and they are playing prime time in Miami on Monday night. But Miami offensively, now that Tua's back, has been pretty good. But I am thinking that could actually be a really big Matt Stafford game. I'm
All
feeling
right.
it. I feel like he's been on a bit of a roll lately, and I feel like a lot of their receivers are. He's been having a good increase lately, I'd say. I mean, last week, or let's say week 8, he threw he threw 279 yards. Last week in Seattle, he threw for 298 yards. I mean, his numbers are trending up and up. And so I just feel like this Miami game under the lights, prime time, could be a big opportunity to get some big points there.
Yeah,
And
and
that would
that would just
obviously would favor Bodie.
yes, I was just gonna say that would just further push her into the lead. She's got Puka Nakua on her team as
Yeah.
well. So what do we got here?
Someone
Awesome.
coming in saying, "I'm changing my name to Pablo, make Pablo face."
All right.
Ah,
Hopefully that'll bring you some
right.
good luck. Not sure
That'll
if that
bring some
was
good luck.
not sure if that was Pam or not, but
I'm
yeah,
not sure.
try that out and let's see how it
Yeah.
works.
I mean, I will just say too, I wanted the Dobbins versus Puka Nakua lineup in the flex spot is interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Puka's a guy that I really would love to see have a couple of good games, string in a row. He had the unfortunate game where he was ejected right after returning from
Yeah.
a pretty lengthy absence due to injury. So he hasn't really gotten into it, and it's already week 10. So I really would like to see that have, not just for Bodie's sake, but just in general. Like he was a great player last season. We all want to see more of that, and it hasn't happened yet this year. Hopefully this week, maybe he can get it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say the one thing I think going for Sharkbait too. I mean, listen, I know Lamar Jackson had the big points, but I do like the Kirk Cousins. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Forgot. Strike what I just said. I'm looking at something else. So, yeah, I don't know when I'm looking at any weak spots here. I mean, it's just the fact that she already put up some big points on the other side, so it kind of overshadows a little bit. But overall, if you took those big points away, I mean, I'd feel like that this would still be a pretty even matchup the way it was originally projected.
Yeah. There's a reason these two teams are in the top half of our standings. Sharkbait has a super strong team. He hasn't had any players go yet, and that's why he's still at 0. But his team is solid.
I mean,
so we'll see. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I mean, he doesn't really have any slackers.
No, he's got great problems. He left Chase Brown on his bench.
Yeah.
He also has Austin Eckler, who will be the lead back once again in Washington this week after Brian Robinson was ruled out.
Hmm.
So, and these are all players he can't find room in his starting lineup for because his team is that good.
Yeah.
So, for the sake of picks here, I think the easy pick is going to be to go with Bodie
Right.
because it's been working every week, and she's already out to an outstanding lead.
Yeah.
So that will be my pick.
All right.
What do
So
you
yeah,
think?
I mean, I feel like that is the right pick to make in this situation. Yeah, I mean, at this point we've picked other people to go against her. She seems to be Teflon right now, and she just is on a streak. She's hot. So, she's going to ride this wave right into the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I am going to also pick Bodie as well.
Very good. I still need to, I meant to look back at previous seasons
Mm-hmm.
to see how far a team ever made it undefeated. I promise I'll get to that for next week's show. I don't know if Bodie's here about to set a record with 10 wins in a row in 10 weeks. I'm not sure, but
I'll have to
we'll
go
look
back and
into
look
that
at that.
and get back to y'all.
Yeah, that would be a good stat to find out as far as the history of this league goes. All right, so let's start now. How we're looking at this, we did 2 matchups. We're going to start from the top here, and we're going to go into our head-to-head matchup, my friend. The Killer Bears, my team, sitting in 4th place at 6-3 versus your team, Uruguay, at 6-3, sitting in 3rd place. And as we were talking about, I was fortunate enough to have a Jamar Chase night. I had a really good night with him, getting out on top with 49.5 points to start. Plus, I also, I had some defense, kicker action, couple defense guys, put up. So basically, I had a combined score of 64.5 points to get a jump on a Thursday night. But listen, man, originally our projections had you destroying me, and just because this is what it is, I don't think I am far from being out of the woods on this. I am not declaring any victory at all. This is going to be very, very tight. And all it's really done with the points is actually give me more of a fighting chance against your team because you have got some firepower. That you got some big players, big names on your side. I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm lucky that the projections were in my favor to start because otherwise this matchup might be over already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I have a chance to survive that Jamar Chase Thursday night. 264 yards with 3 touchdowns, 11 receptions. That's not looking good for Pablito. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I think I do have a fighting chance still, but that was almost a historic. It was a historic night for Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I think I look back at the stats. He had one game as a rookie that was just a little
Right.
bit better with more fantasy points, but almost a career game. And yeah, good for you for having drafted him and having him in your lineup. But yeah, I think we got a great matchup here. Hey, the
Yeah.
3rd and 4th place teams, two very, very good lineups in my opinion, and
Yeah.
a lot of football to be watched on Sunday to see what happens. I want to call out my biggest concern. The biggest concern that I have on my team,
Mm-hmm.
Will Levis in my Superflex.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I think it is what it is, right? Because you don't have too many other options when it comes to your super flex. I mean, Gino's on a bye. We're in this now time where there's a lot of bye weeks.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Nico is on IR. He would have been a great play for you on that side of things. So as far as your options, they're a little thin just because of bye weeks. And on my side, the thing that I'm a little worried about, honestly, is Jameson Williams coming back, and he's been out for a couple weeks. He was on suspension. He was back, but they're playing Sunday night in Houston, Detroit. I don't know how many looks he's going to get. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the number 1 there. Jameson Williams has been good, but I feel like it's a very risky play for me right now to put him in that number 2 receiver spot at the moment. And Tank Bigsby for me has been like, I love or hate. He's been really good or he's been absolutely god awful. and that's just because the Jacksonville's not great. But
Right.
with looks like with Trevor Lawrence not playing, at least that's what it looks like right now. It's trending towards not playing. I think right now he's at 0, so I think they're already saying he's not playing. Maybe they'll do more run, and I do think Tank Bigsby's a better than ETN from that standpoint. So maybe I'll get a benefit of seeing some more Tank Bigsby action because they're not going to pass as much unless they get that far behind, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to get Mac Jones to start in Jacksonville this week.
Jones is back, baby.
Mac Jones gets the start for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tank Bigsby, like you said, might benefit from that because he's probably going to lean on the run a little bit more. I think Evan Engram also is going to be a big benefactor because he's going to be really close to that line of scrimmage, and he's probably going to get a ton of looks from Mac Jones this week. So those are some sneaky plays there that might end up yielding you a lot more points than you're currently projected for.
Now, one of the interesting things I did this week, and I'm like, I feel like this is going to bite me in the ass, man, but I just went for it, is the fact that I put both Miami running backs in, A-Chain and Mostert, because over the last couple weeks, Miami's been going back and forth between the both of them. And I am just of the, in fact, Mostert had in not last week, but week 8, he had 2 touchdowns. And they just seem to be utilizing him a lot. Last week he had 88 yards. So I'm feeling like they've just been doing this running back committee style, even though A-Chain's obviously the number 1. I just feel like they've really been splitting the duties a lot more, and so that's why I'm throwing him in my my flex spot.
Yeah, not a bad play at all, in my opinion. I think with the return of Tua in Miami, all pieces are worth throwing out in your starting lineups. They're all valuable. Points will be had. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game in LA. So, no, I can't fault you at all for starting both Mostert and HN. I think I would have done the same.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And by the way, this Facebook user in here is Josh. I just confirmation. Right. It's just saying Facebook user on our side, but we know it's Josh. So, Josh, how are you? Good morning, my bud. All right, so listen, looking at our lineups here, man, I think I know where we're both going with this.
I'm pretty sure I do too.
But I have, as no surprise, I will be picking my team because why not? I feel like I actually have a fighting chance now, whereas I wasn't feeling great. But I'm not saying I feel overconfident. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's the wording I'll use. I'm cautiously optimistic that I'll get a victory this week and that you and I will be flip-flopping spots.
Perfect. Well, good luck to you. Best of luck to you, my friend. I will be picking my team.
Yes.
And for all those Nico Collins owners, I'm still actually holding out some optimism that maybe late into Sunday we hear that he gets activated. And maybe I do try to throw him in there. If I can get that news ahead of Will Levis's 4:00 game, I might try to consider switching him in because, I can't wait to see him on the field again. That's basically why I want this to happen. But we'll see.
There you go. And Tina's saying, I can't wait for this matchup. Well, you and I both, Tina. You and I both. This will be a good one. It'll be a nail biter, I think, for sure. And once again, guys, for anybody, if you're just tuning in now, welcome to Touchdown Talk with myself, Chris, and my awesome co-host Pablo, as we're breaking down our fantasy football picks in both our respective leagues that we are both in. We're focusing on our one league, the Dirt Invitational, and we're breaking down these matchups, seeing who we think is going to win, and also talking some of our fantasy picks and starting and sitting and swapping in and out and all that going on. If you do have any questions at all for us, feel free to use the chat if you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube, or if you're listening on the radio, call us at 862-243-2064. That's 862-243-2060, and we will answer your fantasy questions. Pablo, let's go on to our next matchup in this league, which is number 2, Moose Knuckles, versus number 10, Show Me Your TDs. So, right off the bat, Chris, owner of Show Me Your TDs, sitting in 10th place, jumping out to a 42.5 points right there. The owner of Joe Burrow. 39.5 points. 4 passing touchdowns, 428 passing yards. Joe Burrow had a night. He had a career night.
Wild.
Unfortunately, he was sacked 3 times, but still put up the big numbers. Wow. And by the way, we were just talking about it. Like, I know I didn't get a chance to watch the entire game. I just couldn't stay awake. But what a game, man! Literally the game of the year so far. That was like playoff caliber kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely fantastic. So this matchup that we're looking at here has Moose Knuckles sitting in second place, currently projected for 146.79 versus Chris's team. Show me your touchdowns. Sitting in 10th place, currently projected for 131.22. Now, the one big thing, the first thing that stands out to me is Chris's team, show me your touchdowns here, has been waiting patiently all season long.
Yes.
For Mr. Christian McCaffrey to get activated. And
yes.
The news, as it sits as of today, for all of us that have high expectations to finally see him, we will get to see him this weekend.
Christian McCaffrey is back.
He hasn't yet been officially activated off of IR, but he is projected for about 17 points this week.
Right.
So I do expect to see that happen. And in that case, I'm sure Chris will update his lineup, and he'll have an even closer projection than he currently has.
I'm sure all CMC owners across the board are rejoicing. I would love to know right now. Let us know in the chat if you're a CMC owner. Have you been holding on to him, or did you trade him? Would love to know. Let us know. And if you traded him, who did you trade him for? And are you upset that you made that trade? Do you wish you had held on to him? I don't know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to see how many CMC people out there held on to him like Chris did, or did you trade him away? So let us know. And I will say off the top, when we're looking at our QB matchups here, Moose Knuckles riding with Patrick Mahomes and versus Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes finally, at least in our, from fantasy perspective, finally put up some decent points last week. 27 points in our league, 291 passing yards.
Yeah,
and 3 touchdown passes. So finally putting up some kind of fantasy production numbers, respectable numbers.
Yeah,
in the world
of great
fantasy.
Great Monday night game. And shout out to Moose Knuckles, because he came into Monday night with a big deficit against Sharkbait.
Yeah.
And that Monday night game went into overtime, and it was Mahomes and Travis Kelce who put Moose Knuckles' team on their shoulder and carried them all the way into overtime with a last-minute play that put Moose Knuckles 1 point ahead of Sharkbait, 180 to 179. Tough loss for Sharkbait, the second highest score of the week, and still lost.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's a tough loss, but that's how it happens. Did that come down to stat corrections at all, or was that just that was the final score?
That was the final score. We were all watching stat corrections because I too thought that maybe that could change, but it didn't. It held.
Yeah.
The 1 point difference stands, and that put Moose Knuckles at 7 wins on the season.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a fantastic fantasy matchup to follow through all the way to Monday night into overtime.
Yeah, and Moose Knuckles also an owner, Derrick Henry owner. He had a nice night, 68 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception, 12.5 points. I mean, not huge numbers, but good numbers. But is it going to be enough when we look at both sides? If we go down, the firepower on both sides here, is it going to be enough to come out on top on this matchup? Currently, Moose Knuckles is still projected to win, even with Chris's nice jump out on Thursday night. Still the projected winner in this. And he's got Kelce, he's got Cook, he's got Keenan Allen, Derek Carr, who's been, so lately. But from a fantasy perspective, hasn't been too bad, I don't think, right? I think he's been putting up some decent points from a fantasy perspective of things.
Carr?
Yeah, has he been, or am I wrong about that?
He was out for a few weeks. He had an injury.
That's right.
He came back last week, did okay, but I'm sure he has some rust to shake off.
I'm thinking back from the start of the season when his week 1 and week 2, he was on fire. But
he did start
fantasy
well.
Points, yeah.
But he's rolling out with Carr this week, And yeah, even though, like you said, even though he went up against Joe Burrow, he's still projected to lead as of right now. But again, we were just talking about these projections, how they'll probably change should the CMC news get confirmed.
Correct.
And that'll put it at an even closer projection between these two teams. This is close. I think I know who I'm going to pick for my pick, but before we get into that, is there anyone else on these lineups, anyone else on these teams that you want to highlight or you think is going to have a really, really strong week this week 10?
Well, it's an interesting play right here because I mean, as far as strong weeks go, I mean, I like Cooper Kupp going into Miami. The one thing I am a little concerned about on the other side is Trey Palmer starting on Show Me Your TD's side. And Trey Palmer, I mean, I like him. He's young, but I don't know if that's and I don't know if it's just because he's got enough people on his bench. But an interesting pick to have him starting up against Cooper Kupp. And so I'm a little concerned about that pick.
For sure. Yeah, it's a dart throw play for sure.
It is.
But on a Tampa Bay team that currently doesn't have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they're leaning a lot on players like Cade Otton at the tight end position. The other wide receiver, McMillan, I believe is out this week as well. So that's probably why we might see some more of this young rookie Trey Palmer, who hasn't really had anything great to show for, but he's one of the few healthy wide receivers that Baker Mayfield has left to play with. And Baker's been great. He's been great with every wide receiver. So if Trey Palmer is the lead wide out, I would say light him up.
Yeah. The only other thing I would just I don't know if I would make this move, but it's something I would consider. So I'm just going to throw it out there. And Pablo, I'd love to get your instant feedback on it. Would it be worth moving Trey Palmer back to the bench and then just starting Cole Kmet in the flex spot, so you're rolling with two tight ends, and then moving Douglas up to that wide receiver spot? Or am I crazy? Is that even a riskier move?
Well, so Kmet has had some blow up games. He's been a real boomer bust player. He had a couple of 20-point games this season. But
I mean, knowing that they're going into New England this week, and New England's been very soft.
Yeah, Chicago's been tough to put a lot of faith in the passing game. Last week, Kmet did not get a reception. I don't think he even he was not even targeted.
No, not targeted at all. He had a very bad week.
So it certainly is a fair question to ask. Do you want to put your chips on Cole Kmet, or do you want to put it on an unproven wide receiver in Tampa Bay like Trey Palmer? I think it's a coin toss.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I wouldn't blame anyone for throwing Kmet out there, because Kmet's done it already this season. Yeah. So it's definitely worth rolling him out.
Tina said she would do it. I love tight ends. I'd do it. That's what she says. We know, Tina. We know you're the queen of the two tight ends.
Yeah. So all right. So for this matchup here, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go with the prediction that Christian McCaffrey plays. He gets rolled out into Show Me Your TD's lineup, and that'll be my pick. I think Chris will take the win here.
All right.
And Show Me Your touchdowns will be my choice for this week.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think it's interesting, and obviously if CMC gets going, which it looks like it's gonna be, it's just a matter of I mean, the guy is still really good. So is he gonna play every snap? I don't know. They're going to ease him back into it, probably. But anytime that guy is on the field, he's a big offensive weapon. So I want to pick Show Me Your TDs because of that, but I'm going to go with Moose Knuckles.
There you go.
Because I just feel there's a little unknown, but we'll see. I'm probably going to be proven wrong, but I'm going to choose Moose Knuckles on that one. Going with that pick. All right, so let's move it on, guys. We're going to keep it moving. We got two more matchups to talk about, and then we're moving on to our other league. Let's talk about the Manja versus Primo de los Matador contest. Manja, current league champ. Sitting at 4-5 in the 8th spot. Primo de los Matador sitting at 2-7 Mikey's team in the number 11 spot. Right away, I got to tell you, I do like Manja picking up Cooper Rush, and I'm going to tell you why. Cooper Rush last year, I think Cooper Rush is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Hands down. I just do. And I think when he played last year and he filled in, he was very effective for Dallas. He won games.
Yeah, that's a spicy take, but I can't fault you for that. Dak, I wouldn't be surprised that will stand true throughout the 2024 season for sure, because Dak has been terrible. He has not played well when he was healthy, and now he gets to sit out possibly for the rest of the season. And
Possibly, yeah.
Cooper Rush steps into a very favorable schedule. Like, I got to say, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback matchups look very, very juicy. And even though Cooper Rush isn't a guy who was used to starting all year, I think he's competent enough that he could do very well with the weapons that he has and succeed from a fantasy perspective.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, even though I hate Dallas and I just want to see them lose games as a Giants fan. Sorry, Dallas fans out there, but you know how it is. You hate us too. It's all good. It's football. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Cooper Rush may be a dark horse pick for the rest of this season.
Very good.
And maybe I'm saying that because I want to curse Dallas, but I'm gonna say it.
Not bad. Well, I'm sure that's what Manja is banking on. She's also the CeeDee Lamb manager, so was able to and had Dak Prescott on her team.
Yes.
So was able to replace Prescott with his natural replacement on the field as well.
I do have a trade offer out right now with Manja, which she offered me a trade and I rebutted. I know it was bold, but I made a bold suggestion. So we'll see if she goes with it. We'll see if she accepts it. As of today, she hasn't yet. It was very bold, but you know what? You got to put it out there.
All right. Sounds good. We hope to hear some more news later throughout the day on that trade offer. Yeah.
But I mean, looking across the other side, I mean, Josh Allen having so far a great season, and he's been great for fantasy. Has been very good for fantasy, and he's going into Indiana. Is that going to be a Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson size points right there? What do you think?
Joe Burrow.
Like the points that we just saw this week on Thursday. Are we going to see Thursday night level points by Josh Allen going into Indiana?
Well, we might. It's possible. You can never put that out too far out for Josh Allen, but his wide receiver corps has been reduced by quite a bit. I think Amari Cooper. Let me see if Amari Cooper's on Viviana's team. No, she doesn't have Amari Cooper here, but I believe Amari Cooper was questionable this week. And I forget who was the other wideout on the Bills that was also Keon Coleman also.
Yeah, Keon Coleman is out because I have Keon Coleman and he is ruled out right now.
So his receiving weapons are not in strong fashion for Week 10, but Allen has a great running game. So I wouldn't put it past him that he could also put up 40 fantasy points this week versus the Indianapolis Colts. And that was certainly helped Primo de los Matador get the win here, which he desperately needs, sitting at 2-7 this season so far in 11th place. Still has a chance, but needs to get those wins to happen ASAP.
So real quick, I am looking at, just for Amari Cooper news, they're saying that he is taking the headline as far as coming off of the Buffalo Bills website is that Amari Cooper is taking encouraging step in injury recovery ahead of Week 10. So he started catching passes in practice on Friday. That's the latest news. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to start, but it's certainly encouraging if you are an Amari Cooper owner. And obviously, the Bills would love to see him play.
And good for Josh Allen as well. Yeah, better to have Amari Cooper than not to have him.
But, correct. So I guess we'll see. But something to probably monitor, as that'll be a game time decision. That's a 1 o'clock start, guys. So if you do own him, which I don't think no one owns him in this matchup, but you may want to make sure you're checking that.
Yeah. So looking through the rest of these lineups, Primo de los Matador has some really, really great starts here. I like the running back game. He's got Rico Dowdle as well as Rashad White.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nice back and forth there. Yeah, Kate Otten's
Yeah,
been great.
Cade Otton's been fantastic at the tight end position,
He's been like the
and
number one go-to for Baker right now.
yes, he has. He has. So a lot of strong options there on Prima de los Matador side. On Manja's side, she's rolling Taysom Hill out this week at
Yep.
the tight end position. She had Dalton Schultz in Houston, wasn't satisfied, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
with that option, so went in a different direction for this week.
Yep.
And doesn't have a second quarterback on the roster, so she's rolling with Roma Dunze, the rookie wide receiver.
Yep. And unfortunately, her quarterback situation is a little light because Anthony Richardson, of course, not playing, benched
Right.
for Flacco again. And as you pointed out, Dak Prescott out. And, maybe making a trade for a quarterback.
Yeah, she actually, I was talking to her earlier before she picked up Cooper Rush this Tuesday, or I think it was Wednesday morning, that she found out that she actually was able to add him off of waivers. She had 0 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
0 quarterbacks that were going to start this week. She was happy and lucky to get one, and still has time to make moves, which, by the way, let's reiterate that in our Dirt League, as well as in our LOEMP league and every other league
there's
that
two
everybody
starting
plays in.
quarterbacks available, by the way.
There are.
There are
Right.
2 starting quarterbacks available on the waiver wire right now in the Dirt League.
Mancha should go check that out. But one thing I just thought about that we should really, really remind everybody is that the NFL trade deadline has passed.
Yes.
That was Tuesday, November 5th. And shortly after that, each fantasy league has their own trade deadline set. For the Dirt League, that will be 1 week from today, Saturday, November 16th, will be the last day to make trades happen in the Dirt League.
Mm-hmm.
Our LOEMP league has a week more than that, so that'll be the following Saturday, November 23rd. But there's a week left to make trades. So if somebody like Mancha still needs a second quarterback, if the quarterbacks that are out on the free agency right now are not of her liking, this is the last week to be able to make something happen in the form of a trade.
Yep. So there you go, guys. You've heard it. Heard it from the co-commish.
Yep. So yeah, looking through the rest of the lineup, there are some tough options here. Chris Olave on Mancha's team
out.
News came out today that he likely will be put on IR and is looking at the possibility to miss the rest of the season, unfortunately, with second concussion that he got this year.
That was tough. That was tough to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So not great news for Mancha. But one thing before we make our pick here real quick, because I know we got to move on. One thing I was looking at, now that we have a couple games left, we only got 5 games left this regular season.
Mm-hmm.
I reviewed everybody's matchups and I tried to put together some type of strength of schedule for our league, just like the NFL does.
Sure.
Mancha has the softest schedule left for the last 5 weeks of the regular season.
Okay.
So there is some light at the end of that tunnel there that she might be able to get some wins and climb into those top 6. But it won't be an easy battle because, like I said earlier, Prima de los Matador is going to give it all he's got, and he's got great players too. So we'll see how it goes. Do you have a clear pick here for this matchup, Chris?
So my clear pick for this matchup is I'm going to be going with Prima de los Matador on this one, just because I like the Josh Allen quarterback situation there. I also like the Rico Dowell, Rashad White combo. I love Cade Otton. He's the number 1 right now, the target for Baker. And obviously as a Baker owner, that's good for me. But I do like that. And I feel like that is going to be just enough to push him past Manja on this one. So I think that this will be, I know this is a game Manja needs to win to stay in the hunt. So, I think Primo's going to take this one.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to go with the same, actually. I think Prima de los Matador has a strong team, and Manja is putting pieces together as best as she can.
Yeah,
but I don't know that works out this week. I'm going to go with Prima for the win this week.
All right, there you go. And now let's look at our last one before we move on to our next league here. is we've got Ginger Ninja versus BMF. Heather, who was going into this game, going into last week's matchup, had not had a win. We both picked that she would get a win, and she got a win. So congratulations, Heather. Now you need to keep it going so that way you are not in the running for the poop trophy. BMF Ruben is sitting in ninth at 3-6. Does need to keep winning here to also stay out of the poop trophy tournament. But looking right away, and we'll move through this. But we got Justin Herbert versus Brock Purdy, Tank Dell versus Devontae Adams, D Hop, who looked great in his return. Zay Flowers, not a great night. I mean, once again, Baltimore won, but not targeted heavily. 34 yards, 4 receptions, only 5 points for Zay Flowers, who was kind of having a pretty good run right there. But that Thursday night, he wasn't used in the mix too much.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, after watching everybody else get so many points, you kind of feel left like you had not enough out of Zay Flowers. But it happens. Not everybody can score 40 points.
No, it definitely happens.
Yeah, but definitely a good matchup here to look into. Ginger Ninja looking strong, projected for 142.
Looking very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I love her lineup.
Yeah, me too. I think things are starting to click. Things are starting to trend in her direction. The one player that I like the most on her team right now is the running back on the New York Giants, Tyrone Tracy.
I agree 100%.
I think that kid is slated. He's got everything lined up in front of him to have not only a great week 10, but a great rest of season.
Yeah.
I think he's 100%. Definitely taken over the backfield. And the way the season is going for the Giants, I would say the smartest thing they can do is just see what the kid's got and give him more opportunities.
I agree 100%. I like him a lot. I think he's turned into one of my favorite players. Watching on the Giants, as miserable as the Giants been, it's been fun watching that kid break out. So if the Giants were smart, they would really stick with the run game and utilize this kid's talents much more. But looking down at, I mean, listen, I think that there's a lot to like. I mean, she's rolling with Herbert, Dell, Hopkins, Jonathan Taylor. We just talked about Tracy, Hunter Henry, Lynn McConkey, Jalen Hurts. She's got Hunter Butler, even as kicker, who's getting some good big projections. Rolling with the New York D against Carolina. We talked about it not being great, but Carolina I do think is worse than the Giants, and I do feel like, one thing the Giants have been able to kind of do okay is they've gotten a little bit better at pass rush. So, having a young quarterback there, I think the Giants will bring it, and that's not a bad, pick up a fumble, pick somewhere, anything like that. There could be some turnover potential, which I think is smart on her part, starting the Giants D. So listen, looking at this, I like Heather's chances this week. I think she's going to win. I think she's going to get notch number 2 under her belt and get a second win and begin her climb out of last place. So I am picking Ginger Ninja for this one.
I'm going to do the same. Yeah, I'm going with Heather's team, and we'll see how that shapes out. BMF definitely has a strong team as well.
Definitely does.
Yeah, one defensive player spot there empty, so I'm sure he'll fill that out later.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, so that'll be our pick. He actually is going to bench CJ Stroud in favor of Drake May this week.
What do you think of that?
I can't. It's in a vacuum. It's not what I would do. But
also leaving
CJ
Marvin
Stroud,
Harrison on the bench too.
Yeah, Stroud has been. I'm sure he's doing it out of frustration. Stroud has been difficult to deal with. Did
not have a good game last week.
He's not putting up the points you need him to. And Marvin Harrison, he's having an okay first season as a rookie. He's definitely has blow up potential, but it's not an every week thing. And he has a really, really tough matchup this week against the Jets.
Yeah.
So I get it.
And I will say CJ Stroud, he does have a tough matchup Sunday night in Detroit. Not easy, or versus Detroit. So that is a really hard matchup for a quarterback that's been having a rough patch.
Yeah. Detroit's defense has been good. Their team overall has been great this season.
Yeah.
So all right. So Ginger Ninja is our pick for this.
All right. There it is. All right, guys. So let's review our picks real quick in this matchup before we move on to the LOEMP League and finish out the show for today. But as we go, we'll start with our game of the week pick, which we had listed as where is it? Right here. I lost our game of the week pick. Oh, here it is. Sorry. So we had the Sicilians versus Swift Kick of Love as our game of the week. You and I had both chosen the Sicilians in that one. In Sharkbait versus Bodie McBoatface, we had both chosen Bodie McBoatface on that one. In the Killer Beers, the Battle of the Hosts, the Host Bowl, Killer Beers versus Uruguay. We have both chosen our respective teams. I went with Killer Beers. Of course, Pablo went with the Uruguay. In Moose Knuckles versus Show Me Your TDs. I went with Moose Knuckles, and you went with Show Me Your TDs. In the Manja versus Brimadolis Matador matchup, we are both in agreement on that. We both picked Prima on that. And then the last one, Ginger Ninja versus BMF, we have both gone with Ginger Ninja. So there you have it, guys. That's our picks for this week's matchup in the Dirt Invitational.
Very good. Fantastic.
Excellent. All right, so now we are going to move over to our next league, which is the LOEMP League, the League of Extraordinarily Mediocre People. And let's look at our standings real quick. We'll move this along a little bit faster in this next one. But looking at where we're at currently in this team, Suck My Dicka, Tina's team is sitting in the number 1 spot right now at 7-2, although Keith's cool team also sitting at 7-2. So nipping right at her heels for that number 1 spot. Although Tina's got a nice point separation there.
She does. Yeah, she does. She actually is almost leading the league in points, which is important in this league because we do have a prize at the end of the season for the team with the most points. Shardy McDennis is currently leading the league in points, but Tina is like less than 20 points behind him. So yeah, in first place and doing very, very well there, Tina, with her points.
Right. And then Mighty Morphin Bower Rangers, last year's league champ, sitting in 3rd spot at 6-3. Yoda Best Team, which is my team, moving into the fourth spot at 5-4. CD's Nuts at 5-4. Shardy McDennis at 4-5. So right now, that's your top 6. If playoffs were tomorrow, we would all be in, sitting right on the bubble. Team formerly known as the Dumbanders, now known as Pablo McPablo-Face, sitting at 4-5. Los Chupacabras at 4-5, and we had a text from Wayne before about how he lost 1 point by 1 point. Unbelievable. That's how it goes sometimes, buddy.
This last week he got blown out of the water by the team that had not had a win yet. It Takes Two to Tango scored 210 to get his first win of the season last week. And then the week before, I think he had lost by a point. So those are 2 tough weeks to digest there, my friend.
Yeah, sorry about that, bud, but you know how it goes. Willie coming in with Shardy McDennis coming back hard, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, Shardy McDennis put 3 losses back to back these past 3 weeks. So I'm sure he's looking to snap that. But his team has been doing great. Obviously, like we said earlier, leading the league in points. He's got a solid team. So it's just a matter of getting the right matchups to get those wins.
That's right. And then just to finish it out in the bottom spots here, Manja Magic sitting at number 9 spot. Look at all these 4 and 5 teams, man. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 5 teams. Unbelievable. I've never seen this before. And then at number 10, the name is Dalton. Number 11, All Out Love. That would be your team, my friend. And at number 12, in the last spot, It Takes Two to Tango, 1-8, who got his first win, as we were saying, against Los Chupacabras last week. And biggest blowout of the week, as we were talking about, It Takes Two to Tango, 210 to 148 versus Los Chupacabras. Almost 62 points there.
That's crazy.
All right. So, my friend, what is our game of the week in this LOEMP league? What would you pick as to be our game of the week?
For game of the week here, there's so many teams that are in a close race there for that playoff run.
Right. Yeah. Coming in, Shardy McDennis owner Kevin Williams coming in with gonna flush all you turds down the drain. Here we go.
All right.
It's bold talk.
For game of the week, I'm gonna vote for our team here, CD's Nuts, that's going up. He's currently in 5th place, going up against Yoda Best Team.
All right.
I think but that's the game. All right, that's the game where Jamar Chase already kind of blew up there. So
Yeah,
that will
I'm
be a
already leading them
difficult
pretty
game
hard
to
last.
follow as far as competitiveness. Let's go with Shardy McDennis. Let's go with Shardy McDennis and Los Chupacabras
All right.
sitting at 6th and 8th place.
Yeah, and look at this. Both teams jumping out to a great start due to a Thursday night. And we had both quarterbacks going head to head, Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson. And look at these points, man. If you Joe Burrow, Shardy McDennis, Willie jumping out to a 52.72 points because of Joe Burrow. And then on the other side, Wayne with Lamar Jackson, 47.440 points. Wow. What
Yeah,
what a Thursday night surprise.
I'm sure they were both happy, but at the same time, like disappointed that they were going against the other quarterback that had an
Yeah, I know.
outstanding
Kind of
Thursday
cancels
night.
each other out.
A little bit, yeah, but still off to a fantastic start, both of them.
Right. And then, of course, Wayne being the benefactor, being a Mark Andrews owner too, who had a great night with 18 points there.
Yeah, for sure. So, a great matchup here to look into, actually. Two teams that already got out to a really, really nice start. And as we go through the rest of the line, we already talked about some of these players already, and especially the quarterbacks that had such a great game on Thursday. As we go through the rest of the lineups here, I'm gonna point out that we're looking at Deebo Samuel back in lineups for Shardy McDennis. He had a return after a hospitalization.
Yep.
Not last week because they were on a bye, but the week before he had a return and he had a pretty decent game. Last week it was on a bye. Should be fully healthy. And going into Tampa Bay this week, I like that to be a game where Deebo, he's still questionable, but I like that to be a game where Deebo could possibly get back into rhythm and start being a really solid contributor for fantasy purposes, especially if Christian McCaffrey comes back in. He's going to get a lot of the attention to go Christian McCaffrey's way. So that could open things up for Deebo Samuel in this matchup.
And I got to say, I do like the play of, I do like the start here. Shardy McDennis is starting Sterling Shepard. And he is good to go. He is playing. He was removed off the injury report. There was a little back and forth with the hamstring and hip, but he is good to go. And he had a really nice game last week. And it's great to see the vet, Sterling Shepard. Of course, we love him in New York. Great player here for the Giants. And I love to see him doing well. And he had a really nice little game for himself last week. And let's see if he can do the same here this week against San Francisco.
Oh, I'm sure they'll give him a lot of work. We were talking about the Tampa Bay wideouts earlier. So, yeah, that's definitely a great start here. And
I like that.
Has a lot of upside.
All right, so let's make our picks in this one. I am looking at this, and I feel really good about Shardy McDennis's chances this week. I like the big start, but I like what he's got. Not to take anything away from Luis Chubacabra's side, because he's got some nice firepower with Drake London, Wan'Dale Robinson, especially going up against Carolina. He's got DeAndre Swift on his side. Of course, he had the great Mark Andrews already play and get some big points. He does have Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthing, so nice little stack right there. There's a lot to like on both sides, but I do feel like Shardy McDennis is going to come out on top on this.
I think the same. I think Shardy McDennis has been putting up fantastic points. Obviously, we looked at that earlier on the standings. Leading the league in points. I think he'll have another great week. Currently projected very, very high. So that'll be my pick in this matchup.
All right. Excellent. It is in. All right. Let's move on to our next matchup then. That was our game of the week pick. We'll move our way down and then we'll work our way back up. So let's move over to Suck My Dicka versus Manja Magic. The first place team right now, Tina's team versus the number 9 team, Manja Magic. Tina already getting on the board with some points with Derrick Henry, 14.10 points. Right away, I love the quarterback matchup here. I love the Jalen Daniels going to Pittsburgh, but I also love Jared Goff going into Houston. Both quarterbacks having some great seasons so far, especially from fantasy perspective. I think Jalen Daniels probably a little bit better at this point than Jared Goff, although man, Jared Goff, Detroit is just rolling, and I love to see it. I love watching it, and I think that there's going to be some nice points in this matchup, man. I think this is going to go back and forth when we look at the lineups on both sides here.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, those are two great quarterbacks, and the rest of their lineups are also very solid.
I mean, I love
So
this the Joe Mixon versus Gibbs
in the flex, yeah.
in the
Oh,
flex spot.
fantastic.
Jamar Gibbs, very
Yeah,
cool. I mean, I feel like that's going to be a lot of points right there. Both, yeah, and both Sunday nights there, both teams going up against each other. So it'll be interesting to see who gets more points on that one.
that's lined up very, very well for us to be able to follow. And yeah, both players are very, very good. So yeah, overall, looking at the rest of the lineups, both teams have really, really good players, and it's really hard to choose one here. The projections currently have Manja Magic favored,
Yeah.
but that's only because Derrick Henry had a little bit of a of
Mm.
a of a less intense game
Right.
than the rest of the players on that Thursday night. He was still good, but I
Hmm.
remember getting some feedback there from Tina how she was hoping for more because, of course, after such a big game,
Yeah.
you would want Derrick Henry to get a little bit more. But he did get in the end zone. He did get a touchdown,
Hmm.
and he got 14 points on the board
Yeah.
already. Tina chiming in here with good luck, Vivi. She's kind of disappointed in Hill this week. I'm hoping for the best. I think she had Hill
Yeah.
in the Dirt League. Yes,
Yep.
that was a disappointment for sure. But in this matchup here, this is going to be close. Who do you think, Chris, is going to come out with a win between these two teams?
So yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here staring at both sides here. I'm going like, where are the weak spots? And there's not a lot. Even in a tight end. I mean, I love Sam Laporta, and you're going against Kate Ott. I mean, man, just I'm jealous. I wish I had this. I wish I had the half the players on these teams, and this is really good. Um, man, if I gotta pick one, geez. I mean, I do like. I will tell you, I think the matchup favors Jared Goff, but Jalen Daniels has been so effective in Washington lately. It's tough to say. Well, Pittsburgh has been good, but this one's hard. I do like the stack though on Tina's side. I feel like that might be an advantage there. But then you look down, then you go down again with the running backs and all this stuff. So I gotta pick one. So you know what? I'm gonna go with Tina. I'm gonna go with Suck My Dick. I'm gonna say the first place champ is gonna retain first place and get another win. I feel like this is such a coin flip. I really am having a tough time making a choice in this one.
Not
Obviously, Manja Magic needs a good win here to move, keep moving up. There's so, as we were talking about, so many 4 and 5 teams. So somebody has to begin to break out of that. Is this going to be her week? I don't know. I mean, she's projected to win, but I'm feeling suck my dick at this week with that one.
I agree with you on that. I think currently Manja's projected for the win as of right now. One of the biggest concerns that I have with her team is the Jacksonville Jaguars with
Yeah,
Mac Jones as the
I
quarterback
know.
for tomorrow.
Can't be
And
trusted.
right, and she's got Brian Thomas, who's been having a fantastic season as a rookie wide receiver, but he's also questionable with a shoulder injury.
Chest.
So chest injury, thank
Yeah,
you.
chest injury. Yeah.
Chest
He's
injury.
still limited. He's been practicing, but has been limited so far. So
And
something to watch.
with the downgrade at quarterback, I'm not so confident that he'll be able to have such a good game as Manja needs it. So Ditka's team will be my choice here as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. We got it in. And Shardy McDonough coming in. Kevin Williams, you will pick my team to win every week because of the implications. And Josh coming in with Scary Terry against the Pittsburgh defense. That projection is very low. He's saying they're projecting 14.77 points. He's feeling well. He's also a Washington fan, so he's biased.
Yes, a little
Yeah,
bit, but no, he might be right there. It
yeah,
might be a little low. I wouldn't be surprised for McLaurin and Daniels to just go off tomorrow
yeah.
against Pittsburgh.
Agreed. All right. There we go. Both our picks are in for that one. We are both going with Tina's team. Suck my dicka in that one. All right. Good luck to everybody in that one. Let's go over to Keith's cool team versus a team formerly known as the Dumb Manders, now, at least as of today, known as Pablo McPablo Face. We have Keith's cool team sitting in number 2 and Josh's team sitting at number 7. Stroud versus Brock Purdy. We're talking about Stroud and going into Detroit right now and not feeling super confident. But Keith is putting him in that QB1 spot. Brock Purdy going into Tampa. Tampa has had a lot of injuries and right now a little vulnerable.
Yeah, it hasn't been great for Stroud, as we were saying earlier. One thing I actually think we should recap. We missed going over any possible trades. We didn't have any in the Dirt League, but
you're right.
we did have a couple trades go down in the LOEMP League. And Keith's cool team happened to trade away earlier this week Chase Brown, who had a pretty decent game on Thursday night. He traded him to Pablo Face. And got 22 points after that nice Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Josh's team also acquired Jameis Winston.
Yep.
And Keith's cool team in return got Chris Olave, who is now looking to miss the rest of the season. So at the time, seemed like a good trade.
It did.
Olave, he's banking on Olave getting healthy and being the great wide receiver that he is. But that backfired really, really fast, unfortunately, for Keith's school team, who's still in second place, but ended up, unfortunately for him, trading away 2 startable assets for nothing in return, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's just how it goes sometimes. I mean, guys get hurt and then that, just in the middle of a trade or right before a trade, and then that happens. So, listen, it does happen, but still, you are right. Keith's school team is still sitting in second place. Right now, Josh's team is projected to win this one. He is being heavily favored, 155 to 136. He was the benefactor of that trade already, getting 22.4 points out of Brown the other night. 1 rushing touchdown, 52 receiving yards, 9 receptions, so that was already good for him. Baltimore D, unfortunately, didn't do too much for him with only getting 2 points, but still heavily favored here. And, I mean, look at his firepower. Jonathan Tara, Aaron Kamara, Sutton, Land McConkey, Justin Jefferson. I mean, George Kittle, Tyreek, Taysom Hill. Lot of good. Yeah, a lot of strong players.
On Keith's side, though, one thing I wanted to point out, see what you think. He's the owner. He's the manager that has Christian McCaffrey in this league.
Yes.
And still sitting in his IR spot, but projected nicely for a good 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
In order to start him, he would have to take somebody out of his team.
Right.
And he's currently looking to start Kyron Williams, who's been fantastic.
Has been, yes.
Kareem Hunt, who's been very, very good as well. And J.K. Dobbins on the Los Angeles Chargers team, who's also had a very, very good season so far.
Mm-hmm.
The other option he would have is to put him in his super flex spot should he want to maybe take one of his quarterbacks out. But what would you do in that situation? Because McCaffrey is very, very hard to bench, but his
very
options
hard to bench
are very, really good too, and they've been having good seasons. So
yeah, I mean,
this is a tough one for him.
Yeah, because the J.K. Dobbins matchup in Tennessee is actually pretty good. That's juicy because Tennessee's not great. Denver's defense has actually been very good this season. And that is one where if Hunt is going to have a tough game, I think that might be it, just because Denver's D has been good. They've been a really good defense. And so the run game might be stifled there.
It's possible. Hunt's been incredible since
he has been. So
every game.
That's why I have to look at like what the matchup is to be able to determine like who's getting benched, like that's where I have to go at this point. And and obviously, you want to take into how effective they've been. Kyron Williams also been really good going into Miami on a Monday night. Their defense has not been awesome. So that's a very favorable matchup too. I mean, I think if I'm going to bench anybody, it might be Dobbins. even though they're going into Tennessee, which is soft. Dobbins might be the guy I would bench and then start
Yeah.
CMC there, and do
Would you?
whether you want to put him in running back 1, 2, or throw him in a flex. But the only other thing you might want to consider doing is just rolling with all quarterbacks, and maybe considering Stroud's been not great and he's going into Detroit, is benching CJ Stroud and sticking Justin Herbert in a QB1 spot, and then rolling CMC in your super flex and going all these running backs and benching none of them, and
That's
bench
actually
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that's a solid alternative. I like that a lot, actually. Would you give any consideration to benching McCaffrey this in his first week back, just to
It's
see
it's
what it looks
hard.
like in
You
case
know,
they ease him in?
you're gonna bench him and he's gonna put up like 40 burger or something, like
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. So it's like you really, but the reality is the guy's been playing a while. He's coming back again from another another serious injury. He's probably not, but I don't know. The guy seems to be a freak of nature, like as far as an athlete goes. Like he's like Wolverine. He
yeah,
gets hurt a lot, but he seems to heal and then come back like nothing happened.
yeah. For what it's worth, I wouldn't be able to bench him. I would have to start him. No chance. No
I think you
chance.
gotta. I mean, he's your number. Like everybody drafted him number 1 overall. Like he's the guy. Like you gotta start him. And Josh is saying Stroud. Yeah, I think you got to bench. Honestly, I thinking it more and more. You got to bench Stroud and go all running backs there, in all your 2 flex spots, and then I would move up Herbert. I mean, on
Yeah,
his bench too, he's got Mac Jones. Yeah, Mac Jones. You're not starting Mac Jones. I would bench. I would bench Stroud and go Herbert.
yeah.
That's where I think I would
I
go.
would do that too.
I'd
Yeah,
roll the
yeah. But that's
dice.
interesting. Yeah,
I don't know.
but certainly a dice roll. But that's very very interesting to.
Yeah,
It's a great problem to have, right?
it is a
Not
great
sure.
problem to have.
Yeah, not sure if you should start him or not.
But I'm gonna go with Pablo McPablo face in this one. I'm gonna go.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
say I think he's gonna take a win here, and that'll help him up in the standings. Because once again, another 4-5 team needs to start getting some wins together to start moving back up. So he's sitting at 7, not too far out. Just on the bubble there. Key's cool team. I mean, sitting at 7-2. I mean, he's got to keep winning as well. But I don't think a loss here is gonna really. It's not knocking him out of the top 5. That's for sure.
No, it's not. It's not. But I think Keith's cool team comes out with the win. That'll be my pick
All
for
right.
this week.
Okay, so now you and I are split on this. Keith's cool team, and I am going with Pablo McPablo face. All right.
Fantastic name, by the way.
Fantastic name. All right, moving on now. We're going to start from the top here. We'll go with a Yoda best team versus CD's nuts. I don't feel like there's too much to talk about in this matchup. I know it's my team, Yoda best team versus Matt Dunn, who I saw last night. He is sitting at 5-4 in the 5th spot, so technically he is in playoffs. He does need to keep winning here to keep staying in that top 5 spot. I had the Jamar Chase. I own Jamar Chase, so 60.40 points. Sorry, I'm going to celebrate that. That was an awesome outing by him. Didn't expect that. But also, I have to give myself one of these because of Deontay Johnson. 1.60 points. Man, oh man. I'm not ready to dump him yet. I see a lot of guys dumping Deontay Johnson. I don't think that's the right move. I think it's just, listen, he's on a new offense. He's got to ease in. I think he may be a late bloomer on that offense, so I'm not ready to dump him yet. Unfortunately, on Matt's side, Justice Hill not having a great game at all with 1.8. I didn't do him any favors. So, I mean, typically his team's been pretty good. I mean, he's got a lot of good players, but I feel really good this week, man. I feel really good.
As you should. He's got some options on the bench too. He's got Najee Harris projected for 11 points.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently looking to start Miles Sanders in Carolina, who flew out to Germany to play against the Giants tomorrow morning. Only projected for 2.79, so that could be a switch that he could make. But I think at this point, Dunn's team is probably not going to get the win. Let's be realistic here. I think his weekend plans just opened up. He's got not a lot to do here.
Nope.
So this when you're faced with something like that and you don't have the possibility to really give it a good fight, there's not much you can do. It's hard to go up against somebody who puts 60 points. So that's
So
That is what it is.
I'm gonna pick myself, and I'm gonna take the win now, barring any
Yeah.
ridiculousness. But I feel good, and that'll then hopefully that should put me, if I win, which I once again feel good, 6-4, keeping me in
All right.
that top spot there.
Very good. Very good.
All
I'll
right,
pick your team as well, just for the record.
just for the record, got it. Thank you. All right, let's go on to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the champ, last year's champ, sitting in third spot versus your team, my friend, All Out Love, sitting in number 11. And right now, projections are in your favor and very close. Very
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
I
This is a
love Jalen
good
Hurts
one.
going into Dallas right now.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. So this is a matchup that I'm obviously looking forward to. Also had some trades go down this week that affected these current lineups. My team traded away Jordan Love. That's why I'm all out of love.
Yep.
Traded away Jordan Love, who takes two at a tango, who was the Dak Prescott owner. So
Yes.
it was a 3-for-3 trade where I was desperately looking to add a running back. So I offered him Jordan Love since he had just lost Dak Prescott,
Right.
and he accepted the trade. The trade included for me to acquire Devon Achane and a third player. I think it was Dare Gumbawale, who I didn't keep on my roster. But the big addition to my team was adding that second running back, which my team desperately needed. I didn't really have anyone other than David Montgomery to be able to start. So I traded away Jordan Love, which was a startable quarterback, for Devon Achane, and I picked up Cooper Rush off of the waiver wire.
Right.
So that's why I felt confident. Yeah, that's why I felt confident trading Jordan Love away, because I figured, okay, I could roll with Rush, and if Dak Prescott comes back and Rush loses a job, well, I got Dak Prescott on my team as well.
It's fine.
So that's what happened there with that trade. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the lineups here, man. I love you got A-Chain versus Barkley. Barkley's been absolutely on fire. He's been tearing it up. I know he's not on your team, but I like A-Chain a lot. But I like what we were talking about before. I like Evan Engram. He may be a number one target this week in Jacksonville, which would be great for you. Tank Dell and James Conner here, Russell Wilson, Cooper Rush. Like, listen, there's a lot going on, and I feel like this is going to be close. I mean, Bo Nix has been a bit of a surprise, I think, for everybody this year. Still, Jalen Hurts getting the bigger projection, but Cooper Kupp on one side, you're on Puka Nacua on the other. I like A.J. Brown. CeeDee Lamb, we'll see if that's a benefit of the Cooper Rush addition there. So, listen, I feel like this is going to be a very close matchup, my friend, but I do feel like you have an advantage here. I do like what I'm seeing on your side, and I feel like you might have the slight advantage here to pull out this win here and get back into the hunt here and get yourself into 4-6 position. So I'm going to pick your team.
Fantastic. Thank you for the pick. I'm going to pick the same. This is a wild league that we're in right now. I'm currently in 11th place. I'm only one game behind 6th place. So with 5 games left, I definitely have a lot of room to try to get into that top 6, I think.
Right.
And I like my options here. I think Bo Nix has been fantastic, but he's going into Kansas City.
Yeah.
Let's see if the rookie quarterback can go into this divisional matchup on the road and still put up some decent points. I think he could.
Yeah.
But that might be the opportunity for my team if he can't come up with a strong production there for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Gotcha. All right. Well, there you have it. There's our picks for that, and we're getting some talk here from Ken saying I should just let Rachel run my team. The hell with it. Getting his wife to start running his fantasy team.
Not a bad idea sometimes, man.
No, not a bad idea sometimes. So, you know what? Why not? Why not? And then Josh coming in with the Giants should let Rachel run their team as well. Yeah, also not a bad idea. I think they should just sell the team to Rachel for like $2 or something like that. Rachel could own that team too. So, all right. Well, very good, man. I think those are pretty sound picks. I like your chances this week. So, and I like that you pick your own team. I think that's the
very good
wise choice. All right, so let's move it on here.
We got one left.
We got one left. Let's do it. So here is It Takes Two to Tango versus the name is Dalton. Ken, right now, I know he's watching, so let's talk about it. He was just saying he's going to turn over ownership of his team to his wife and let her do the picks. Jerry with It Takes Two to Tango. He's sitting right now in that last place spot at 1-8. He did get the win against Wayne's team, Los Chupacabras, by 1 point. Crazy wild game. Name is Dalton. Sitting in 10. Our other 4 and 5 team, Ken, 4 and 5, bud. You are still in the hunt, my friend. You get a win this week. You're still in it. Still in it. So this is what we have to get these 4 and 5 teams to start breaking it up, breaking the pack up a bit, and notching these wins. So still very much alive right now, I would say, right? Pablo, do you agree?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, all those 4 and 5 teams, no matter where you are, even the 3 and 5 team, my team, I think,
Yeah,
still all those teams still have a strong chance to make it into the playoffs because the rest of the league looks very, very evenly distributed there.
yeah. Ken saying, I know I'm still in it because I'm great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's look at this great team right here. He's rolling out both New York Giants running backs tomorrow morning in Germany.
Yeah.
I like Tracy. We were just talking about that. I'm
Mm.
not sure that that Singletary is going to deliver, but maybe they both do. I mean, Carolina is
Maybe.
that type of team that would allow that to happen.
Yeah. I mean, they might. I mean, I don't think I would do it, but you know what? I don't own Ken's team, and I see the strategy behind it, and it may
Yeah.
just, I do. I mean, I think if it's going to work against any team, it's going to be Carolina, because
This is the week. Yeah.
they are pretty much. I think they are forced to do it because of how bad Carolina is. And he's saying, I'm forced to do that with our running backs guys because no one wants to trade.
Having a tough time to make a trade. Well, we have 2 weeks left in this league, so keep trying. It's never too late. But yeah, good luck. No, I'm sure you probably don't want to start Singletary. Yeah, no, I get it. I looked at the rest of your team. You have a couple guys on bye, so not a lot of great options there. I haven't checked the free agency in this league to see who else is out there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Singletary is the best option you have left.
I wouldn't
And,
be surprised
like
either.
you said, yeah, against Carolina, I would say it's okay to do that. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
So looking here at the rest of the team, Chris, what do you think about Tua Tango's team? You went with Mike Gesicki in the super flex spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Scored
mean,
7 points.
7 points. I mean, listen, not bad in that spot. I mean, I don't know. Let me look at his bench real quick to see. I mean, not any options in his bench really. Everybody's on a bye.
Yeah.
Jordan Love. You got Jordan Love. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's on IR. I mean, he's pretty much done for the season. I would probably just dump him at this point and clear up a spot or move him to IR or something just so you can get another spot. Maybe make a trade here. Yeah, so his options are limited unless he went on to the waiver wire, but that super flex spot is spent. But I mean, you look over on the other side, and I do like Ken's pick of putting Caleb Williams in there against New England. I think that's a really great matchup, and I think Caleb Williams is going to have a good day.
I hope so. Yeah, I really like the chemistry the rookie quarterback was having with the rookie wide receiver Rome Odunze in Chicago, and these past few games didn't seem so great. They lost both games coming out of the bye. It's not what I expected to see. I hope they're able to snap it this week against New England and get back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I do want to say is I'm looking at the wide receiver matchups on Takes Two a Tango side. Zay Flowers already went 7.40 points. I mean, we were saying he didn't have a big day, but it was mid. It's not what you want. I mean, it was projected for almost 14 and a half points, and he did half that. But you look at, he's got Tyreek Hill, D-Hop. I like that. And then obviously Kelsey is good, but I do like what Ken's rolling with here. I mean, Flacco had a horrible game, but I think that was a hiccup. I know they're playing Buffalo, so it's gonna be tough, but I don't think it's gonna be as bad as it was. I think Flacco just had a really bad game. The team overall had a bad game. But I like, we were talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. not being as great, but I feel like maybe this against the Jets maybe could be pretty favorable. Josh Downs, and I like the stack of Flacco and Downs there. Adunze. If Caleb Williams gets fired, I mean, that could be nice there too. And Shakir, I like that because we were talking about, I mean, it seems like with Keon Coleman out, and it looks like Cooper's gonna play, but could Shakir get the lion's share of the looks?
Yeah, this is definitely a game where Shakir will be set up to have more
So I
options
like that.
than
I like
the rest
that.
of the wide receiver core. Yeah, I think the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
so I mean, I feel, I feel pretty good in this pick. I think I'm feeling good about picking name as Dalton to take this one.
all right, very good. Well, I'm gonna pick the same. I think
Okay.
the name is Dalton's team is strong, and his team will probably get a win. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tua Tango though go on a roll
I
and get
know.
back-to-back wins.
Well, because he's
But
got and he also has the Tua and the Tyreek Hill stack, and that could be on a Monday night game, could go off.
yeah. So it's a close one, but my pick will be Dalton's team as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up for all our picks in this league. So let's review where we're at. So in our game of the week, touchdown talk game of the week, we had Shardy McDennis versus Los Chupacabras, and we have both chosen Shardy McDennis to win that one. In Suck My Dicka versus Manja Magic, we have both chosen with Suck My Dicka. We've made that pick to defeat Manja Magic, who is 4-5 and really needs that win to kind of keep going. But if a loss here still wouldn't kick her out. Keith's cool team versus Pablo McPablo face. I can't not laugh. You went with Keith's cool team. You picked Keith, and I picked Pablo McPablo face on that one. That was in it. You picked against your own name.
I did pick against my own. Yeah, I went with the team with the 7 wins.
Yeah. Yoda best team versus CD's nuts. I mean, it's pretty foregone conclusion, but we have both picked Yoda best team in that one. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers versus All Out Love, and we have both chosen All Out Love in that one. Good luck to you, my friend. Hopefully you do pull it out, but I feel like your chances are pretty good. And It Takes Two to Tango versus The Name is Dalton, and you and I have both picked The Name is Dalton to be victorious in that matchup. And guys, that wraps it up for today's edition of Touchdown Talk. What do you think of that? What do you think of them apples?
Week 10 will be great. I'm pretty excited about this Sunday. So get up early if you want to watch those Giants play against the Panthers. And then lots of great games throughout the week. Good luck to everybody on all your fantasy teams.
Yep.
And it looks like we have some great weather here in the East Coast to enjoy some nice football on Sunday.
Yeah, so everybody get out today, enjoy the day, enjoy the weather. Make sure your picks are in. Watch anybody who is obviously on the fence. Game time starts. As Pablo said, we have an early start tomorrow, 9:30. So if you have Jets or Giants or Panthers players on your team, check it out. Make sure they're starting if you want them to be starting. A lot going on. I see here. Godspeed, Pablo McPablo face. There you go. So, all right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. And so, as we've been doing each and every week, we've been playing you guys out with the band here from New Jersey, and so we'll continue that tradition here on the Touchdown Talk. Before we do, want to say thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on Radio Garden State. Even though we ran a little bit over, that's totally okay because we're still here streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you follow the show over on YouTube as well. Hit that subscribe button and the little bell so that way you get notified every time we go live here on our channel. And of course, follow us over on Facebook. And if you do want to keep up with the leagues, if you're not part of if you're not actually in our league, you can follow us on Yahoo Fantasy. You can follow LOEMP League or the Dirt Invitational. Pablo, any final words before we play us out here?
Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, and may the best fantasy football teams win.
All right, there you go. There you have it. All right, guys, we're going to play you out here with a band here from Jersey, great band called Morning Noise. This is Stranger Hearts, and this is official lyric video just released 5 days ago. Very cool video. Enjoy this one, and we will see you guys next Saturday, 10 a.m. on the Touchdown Talk. Cheers.
Stranger hearts, stranger hearts.